Hey guys, this is Vilavanh, and we are here for Founders Friday with Seneca Hampton of Hampton Adams. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Tell us about Hampton Adams.
We are a sports medicine brand. We're trying to serve athletes all over the world. We got to start somewhere. So here we are.
All right. What do you guys produce and do?
So we specialize in specifically athletic taping.
Okay.
And so turf tape, athletic tape, kinesiology tape, self-adhesive tape, like it's all about the tape. So,
Tape galore.
yes, that's what we do.
Awesome. So how did you start doing that? How did you get into it?
It's kind of an interesting story. I was working for a different company and they were selling light bulbs, which is really interesting. And I thought, who wants like a light bulb from a company they don't know, right? It's like, what? And so they it was their own brand of light bulbs. And so I was like, this is really weird. And they go, oh, we're selling it on Amazon. And I was like, what? This is funny. This is going to sound funny. But I was like, who buys from Amazon? And so it was a while ago, right? I'm like, who buys from Amazon? Like, what? So I eventually just dove in. I got the opportunity to do some marketing, and I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to do marketing. So I just dove in head first. And as I was diving in, I was discovering more and more. I'm like, wait a minute. Anybody can do this? This is insane. And so I saw an opportunity for me. I had always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just couldn't find my niche or where I was supposed to fit to have a business model that I wanted. And so I saw that I could actually build a sustainable model that could grow and that didn't necessarily need me to be hands-on. And so I could kind of get some leverage out of it. So I was like, yeah, this is it. So I played football growing up. And my mom was a nurse, and so she was always doing stuff on us, taping us up, or drawing our blood. Or
Football, you're taping everything.
Yeah, everything.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So you're already used to tape.
Yeah, I was used to it. So I knew what good tape was and bad tape was, and I knew, like, I remember being a kid, and we had, I just got some brand new cleats, and they were like $100 cleats, and that was huge for us. Like, that was a big deal. And so I put tape on them the first game, and I took it off, and there was all this glue that was stuck, and it was gunky everywhere. And I know my dad worked so hard to get me those. And in sports, like, you look good, you play good. It's just, it's a mental thing. So
you gotta get the right color tape. You gotta, the whole thing.
You gotta have it. So I was just like, man, this sucks. And so I thought back to that, and I was like, you know what? What if somebody could just solve it? It seems so simple, but I did research, and I saw people were complaining about the same thing. All this glue, ripping my hair off. It's so hard to tear. And so I said, you know what? I'm gonna solve it. And so I went out and I just kept at it until I solved it, and we started there, and boom, I think we're at like 50 SKUs now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's huge.
A lot of work, yeah.
A lot of work. So how long have you been doing this?
5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
5 years?
A little over 5 now, yeah.
Very cool. And where are you guys at now?
In terms of
revenue, costs?
So this year, 5 years, we've done about 12.2 million.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And this year, I think we're at about 5 million.
Okay. Very awesome.
A little more time before the end of the year.
All right. So very successful, obviously.
Trying. Yeah. It's relative, but
I would say successful. I mean, we get a lot of early stage entrepreneurs that come in here, and a lot of people are just starting, you know? So to see somebody get to where you are in terms of revenue generation, that's amazing. And that's inspiring to really kind of hear.
Thank you.
What has been the challenges that you've seen, personally kind of going through those?
Yikes.
I can talk all day.
I think, like, do you guys have time for this? So, man, it's been countless. It's physical product business, cash flow business, right? So one of the biggest things is cash flow and being able to manage your cash flow, and grow and sustain. 1, 2, product quality, right? Making sure product quality is always top notch. 3, customer service, making sure that, you've got that plug filled and people, that's a whole nother rabbit trail I can go down with customer service, but it's like the most important part.
Absolutely.
The list goes on, regulations. Luckily for me, I've been able to build it and I don't have any employees.
You don't have any employees?
I don't have any employees, no.
That is amazing. You have to tell us the secret sauce.
So I'm going to trademark this, by the way. But I call it hyper leverage.
Okay.
And so basically what I did is I tried to figure out where are all the pieces where people are involved in the process, and is it possible to substitute an individual person for a software or an existing process from a different business or something that doesn't involve me having to actually have it in-house. And so once I figured out what the pieces were, then you work backwards to, does this make financial sense to do it? And so I was able to actually take a lot of the people part out of it and put a lot of processes and softwares and agencies or companies in place to have, the ability to leverage all of their power to get it all done.
Well, that's really smart because you're outsourcing and you're automating.
Yep. Yeah, it's key. It's key.
That's amazing.
It leaves me space to focus on the bigger picture, the things that are the most important, right?
As you should as a founder.
Exactly. Yeah.
What are the most important things to you as a founder?
It's because I'm still it's just me. Everything feels important. Everything feels urgent. But what I do is I try to pinpoint what are like the 80-20 principle, right? I love it. It's like my bread and butter. So I look for what are the things that are going to move the needle toward the vision or the goal that I have. So it all starts for me of just having a picture of this is where I want to get to. Yeah. And then I look at it and I go, what does it take to get there? What are the big parts that move it? Yep. And since I'm free from, a lot of the minutia that every business has, I'm able to move those parts and pieces. So it really depends and changes depending on what it is. So we're about to launch a brand new line of products, right? And so there's a whole process for that.
That's exciting.
Yeah. There's a whole process. So there's the sourcing part of it. Okay. There's the design part of it. There's the instructions. There's the packaging, the content that goes around it. There's all that stuff. But when I look at it, I go, at the end of the day, right, I got to sell it. Yep. Period. Yep. And so what do I need to achieve to get it to a point to be sold? And so that's where I focus my energy, right? We need to source it. Okay. I need to be there for that piece. Right. And plus, it's not an ongoing part. It's just once you do it once, you've established a relationship, you found the quality, you got the supplier, boom. The next part is, okay, we need to make sure we can sell it. Yep. So the marketing bit, what pieces can you create that have almost evergreen life to them? So the packaging, once you create it, you can change it, but it's kind of like, this is it. Yeah. And so those big milestone pieces is where you'll find me, even still leveraging outside experience and help, and casting vision at it. But that's where I spend my time on those things. Got it. And once they're done and they get to the point of sale, then, sell it. And that's where I spend a lot of my time.
That's where you're hands-on. Very, very good. Very smart. Automating the whole process, prioritizing, identifying what comes first, what comes next. Yeah, because to get something off the ground, you gotta definitely prioritize your biggest 100%. Your biggest chunks, right?
Yeah, and the resources too. Yeah, super important.
Leveraging resources is absolutely key, especially for entrepreneurs, whether you're a first time or whether you're a 2-time, 3-time founder, whatever the case may be. Yeah. That is awesome. So you've done some pretty special, awesome things. What has the latest that you've done?
So I can't really talk about it.
Okay. It's a secret.
I can't really talk about it.
That's okay.
But I had the opportunity to share the business and try and get some funding for it. Is all I can really say about it. But that was a great experience. That went really well. Okay. And now it's business day in, day out. It's growth. It's what's our next step? Where are we moving next? And keeping my eye just here's the plan. Don't deviate from it. You get bored and you're like, I want to try X. And so there's some discipline there too, of like, no, this is where we're going. Stick to the plan.
Absolutely.
You want to move because find something to do, right? But don't.
You're an entrepreneur. You're always going to find something to do.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's that thing that's always there too.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. So what areas of support do you need in the business kind of right now? Financing.
Funding. Yeah, funding. It's
key.
The bigger you get, the more cash you need. Like it just is what it is. The more cash you make, but the more cash the business needs. And it's funny to me because I feel like a lot of people don't really get that or see that, right? It's like, oh, you have a big business, you must have a lot of money, but it's like all of the expenses and all of
it goes right back into it.
It's but you don't know it unless you've done it, right? And so your concept is just like, oh wow, revenue, woo! But it's like there's a lot that goes into it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So how much are you raising?
Trying to raise 1.5.
All right.
1.5 million.
1.5.
Yeah, I think we could take our sales. So this year we'll probably end at like 6.2, 6.4.
Okay.
We would have ended at 8.
Okay.
But inventory is a big problem for us.
Got it.
Trying to keep up with the growth.
Which you've been hitting year-over-year growth.
100%, literally.
At 100%.
At a literal 100% growth.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So the situation that you're currently in right now is making sure that you have the capital
to do the 100% that's going to happen.
To hit at 100% because you have to get more product in.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a good problem to have.
It is. It is. And there's ways around it, like, increase your price or whatever. Right. But there's context to that stuff, right?
Absolutely.
That's industry specific. So for us specifically, raising our price, we're not in a silo of just like our product only. There's competitors that we're dealing with. And so we can't necessarily price ourselves outside of being, competitive. We could, sales would still come, but it would drop. Your revenue, your top line would come down, and your bottom line would come up. But that doesn't necessarily help us to get to where we want to get to.
Got it.
And so, I think we could be the official sports tape of every major league, anything.
All right.
Yeah, that's the big.
Hey.
That's the big.
Shoot for the stars. Hey. Shoot for the stars.
And land somewhere on a mountain or something.
That's the game, and that's key, right? Making sure that you're able to really kind of get there and sustain. And yes, capital is important.
Yeah.
A lot of entrepreneurs go through this. You're in a very particularly good situation where you just need capital to get over not only this hump, but to make sure that you sustain this hump. And are able to grow even bigger, better from there.
Yeah.
Branding is also going to be key.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So there's a lot like in the 80-20 that we're doing, right? The 20% that we're moving leaves 80% of work to be done, but the impact that has isn't short term, right? Or direct impact now, but it's more long term stuff, right?
Absolutely.
So like branding, social media, presence, right? Like that stuff is important, but when you're starting, it's like you need dollars in the bank.
Absolutely.
And so, it's like sale money. And so, that stuff's important. So that's what the next phase is as you kind of build, some stability in your cash flow.
Absolutely.
And in your sales, then you can start to go, okay, now let's kind of pick at some of the 80%, even still with priorities in place. So.
Okay. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Founders Friday with Seneca Hampton. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on those notifications for more exciting Founder Friday interviews. We have so much more knowledge to drop, so tune in next week for part 2.